In the boundless silence of the cosmos, a lone flagship drifted near a nebula whose colors bled into the infinite dark. The vessel, the pride of the United Earth Defense Armada, bore scars of past battles and a somber determination to protect humanity from the unknown. Its corridors whispered memories of victories and losses, while its crew clung to hope in the face of imminent peril. A figure stood near a panoramic viewport, eyes fixed on distant stars that flickered like dying embers. Elias Kade's mind churned with both duty and doubt. He recalled previous encounters with rogue AIs and alien insurgents, conflicts that had shaped him into a leader hardened by survival, yet tempered by humanity. In the quiet hum of the ship's life support systems, the echoes of a lost fleet resonated in his thoughts. He knew that every decision from this moment onward carried the weight of countless lives, and every hesitation could spell disaster. Beside him, a voice filled with quiet intensity and boundless curiosity broke the silence. Mira Solis, whose intellect bridged the realms of xenolinguistics and theoretical physics, examined cryptic data transmitted from the nebula. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of scientific wonder and a deep-seated anxiety, for the anomaly defied every law known to human science. "These patterns," she murmured, fingers dancing over holographic displays. "They're unlike any signature we've cataloged. It's as if the cosmos itself is writing a new language." Her words mingled with the soft mechanical hum, echoing the sentiment that they were on the precipice of a revelation that could redefine existence. In another part of the vessel, rode Takeda, a pilot whose cybernetic enhancements lent her near-prescient reflexes prepared the ship for a maneuver that might save them from the encroaching unknown. Every fiber of her being resonated with the urgency of the moment. The silent alarm of impending catastrophe urged her to act swiftly. Memories of past near misses and narrow escapes had etched determination into her very soul, a relentless drive to push beyond the boundaries of human limitations. A subtle tremor in the ship's core shook the fragile equilibrium. The silence was shattered by an urgent communication that pulsed through the vessel's intercom system, a distress signal, distorted and fractured, carrying the desperate screams of voices lost in time. In that moment, the crew felt the weight of an unseen catastrophe, a calamity that had already taken so many. Kade's heart pounded as he recalled the reports of a fleet dispatched into the nebula, a fleet that had vanished in a matter of minutes. The specter of the unknown gripped him, and he realized that the present was a mere echo of a disaster too profound to comprehend. The vessel's bridge became a crucible of conflicting emotions. Determination warred with trepidation as each crew member contemplated the implications of the signal. "We must investigate," came a steady command, interwoven with resolve and vulnerability. The order resonated with the unspoken understanding that ignorance was no longer an option. With trembling hands and resolute hearts, the small task force was set to embark toward the coordinates where reality had seemed to falter, a place where the vanished fleet might still hold secrets in the void. As the flagship powered its engines, the boundaries between known physics and the uncharted mysteries of the nebula began to blur. Sensor readings danced erratically, data fluctuating like whispers in the wind. Each flicker on the console suggested that the fabric of space was being subtly rewritten, as if an unseen hand was erasing existence with a cold, indifferent precision. The crew's collective breath caught in anticipation. There was beauty in the chaos, but also terror in its implications. In hushed exchanges and silent nods, the team prepared to breach the threshold of comprehension. Mira's analysis had revealed a recursive structure embedded in the signal, a pattern that defied categorization and hinted at a consciousness beyond human ken. "This is not an attack in the conventional sense," she explained, her voice a blend of academic fervor and quiet. "Dread, it is as if space itself is editing reality, removing what it deems unwelcome." The realization that they were confronting a force that transcended mortal understanding cast a long shadow over the fragile hope that had carried them this far. Elias absorbed her words with a somber gravity. In his mind, memories of past battles, mingled with the dawning horror of an enemy that did not attack with weapons or might, but with a power that reshaped existence itself. Every thought was a battle between the instinct to fight and the wisdom to understand. His inner monologue wrestled with the notion of humanity's place in the cosmos. A species that had once mastered the stars now found itself humbled by the vast, indifferent tapestry of the universe. The silence of space, once a realm of endless possibility, now seemed a dark and unyielding judge. The distant nebula pulsed with enigmatic energy, its swirling hues reflecting the inner turmoil of the crew. In that charged atmosphere, trust became both a necessity and a burden. The intricate interplay of emotions, a blend of camaraderie and isolated despair, defined every moment of their perilous journey. Each heartbeat echoed the realization that survival might depend on not only their ingenuity, but also on the strength of their bonds. In a quiet, almost imperceptible moment, Takeda's steady gaze shifted to the view beyond the viewport. There, in the abyss, something stirred, a dark ripple that seemed to pulse with life, a silent herald of the unknown. Her thoughts raced, blending memories of past victories with the chilling uncertainty of what lay ahead. "We have always adapted," she reminded herself in a whisper of defiance, a promise that humanity's indomitable spirit would not falter even in the face of cosmic horror. As the vessel edged closer to the coordinates of the vanished fleet, the tension reached a crescendo. The interplay of light and shadow, the dance of data and doubt, painted a picture of a universe at war with its own mysteries. Every moment pulsed with the promise of revelation and the threat of obliteration. The crew's unity, forged in the crucible of countless challenges, now faced a test unlike any before. It was a test of courage and intellect, of moral fortitude in the face of an adversary that could not be reasoned with. In the silent communication of determined glances and unspoken vows, the team pressed forward, aware that the journey might well lead them to the very edge of human understanding. Their hearts were filled with a mix of dread and anticipation, each pulse a reminder of the stakes at hand. In that charged silence, the very essence of what it meant to be human, resilient, adaptive, and unyielding, was put to the ultimate test. And so, propelled by an unwavering belief in the potential of humanity, the crew embarked into the heart of the unknown. The echo of the lost fleet, the cryptic distress signals, and the ominous promise of cosmic retribution merged into a single, undeniable truth. That in the vast, uncharted darkness of space, hope and terror walked hand in hand, and only the brave could dare to forge a path toward understanding. In the sterile depths of the command center, tension coiled like a serpent as survivors gathered to confront the inexplicable horror that had decimated an entire fleet. The lingering echo of vanished warships haunted every mind, a grim reminder that the cosmic unknown had rendered even humanity's might impotent. An urgency pulsed in the air, a silent drumbeat of dread and determination that bound every heart in unspoken resolve. The cold glow of holographic displays illuminated the anxious faces of those present, each figure etched with the burden of responsibility and the stark realization that every moment now teetered on the edge of oblivion. Amid the hum of data streams and the rhythmic throb of the ship's engines, a fragmented transmission pulsed through the communication channels, distorted, barely comprehensible, yet unmistakably filled with the terror of countless souls. It was a signal laced with despair, a desperate cry from the void where an algorithmic cadence that resonates beyond the realms of our established physics. The voice of analytical inquiry flowed, each word laden with both wonder and apprehension. The transmission, layered with shifting frequencies and recursive motifs, suggested the presence of a consciousness far removed from human comprehension. It was as though the void itself had taken on a sentient form, a silent arbiter tasked with rewriting reality at will. As the vessel inched closer to the source of the enigma, the fabric of space began to shimmer and contort in ways that defied the laws of nature. Sensor readings flickered with erratic bursts of data, a kaleidoscope of light and shadow that hinted at an unseen force manipulating the very essence of existence. The horizon of known physics cracked open, revealing a glimpse of a realm where time and space danced in unpredictable harmony. The palpable tension was mirrored in the eyes of the crew, each gaze reflecting a tumult of fear, hope, and the relentless drive to confront the incomprehensible. In the midst of the escalating uncertainty, a quiet exchange of words broke through, the data-laden silence a call for unity in the face of overwhelming odds. "We stand at the precipice of something far greater than ourselves," the declaration resonated, a reminder that in the darkest moments, the spirit of humanity must shine brightest. The words, simple yet profound, were not mere platitudes but a lifeline, a beacon urging each soul to press forward despite the encroaching dread. The inherent ingenuity of the human spirit was on full display as minds raced to decode the signal's layered complexity and hearts steeled themselves against the terror of the unknown. A sudden, unanticipated fluctuation in the sensors sent a ripple of alarm through the command center. The holographic displays stuttered, data streams cascading into chaos as the ship's instruments struggled to reconcile with the inexplicable phenomena unfolding before their eyes. There was no violent impact, no explosive force, only the unsettling sensation that reality was being rewritten, that the very fabric of existence was under siege. A collective shudder passed through the assembly, as if the cosmos itself had taken a deliberate breath before exhaling an ominous warning. A piercing, voice resolute and unwavering cut through the mounting tension. "Prepare for immediate observation and engagement," the command echoed, a directive forged in the crucible of necessity. Every member of the crew moved with a determined grace, their actions synchronized in a delicate ballet of survival. The vessel's trajectory was adjusted with precision, a maneuver designed to bring them closer to the epicenter of the disturbance without succumbing to its destructive allure. In that moment, every calculated decision was imbued with the weight of humanity's collective hope, a hope that defied the overwhelming odds stacked against them. The nebula loomed ever larger on the view screen, its swirling mists a mesmerizing blend of beauty and terror. Within its depths lay the answer to a mystery that threatened to unravel the very notion of existence, and yet the uncertainty of what awaited was a palpable presence that pressed down on every mind. As the ship's forward sensors reached out into the uncharted void, a strange phenomenon materialized, a subtle distortion that defied conventional explanation. It was as if the void itself had conspired to blur the line between presence and absence, to render solid matter into ephemeral echoes that danced on the edge of perception. A whispered observation, laced with both awe and trepidation, rippled through the crew. "It is not an assault in the way we understand combat." The remark floated in the charged air, a quiet acknowledgement of the paradox at hand. The force they confronted was not a mindless predator, nor a cold, calculating machine of war. It was something else entirely, an intelligence that operated on a plane of existence unfathomable to human reason. The idea, stark and unsettling, forced a reckoning with the limits of perception, as each individual struggled to reconcile their innate need for control with the realization that some mysteries were destined to remain beyond grasp. In the midst of this existential quandary, an unexpected ripple of sound emanated from the communication array, a garbled, almost spectral transmission that defied immediate interpretation. The distorted voices layered with static and punctuated by cryptic fragments evoked a haunting familiarity. "We are not alone," the message declared, though its meaning was as elusive as the shifting patterns of light on the horizon. It was a proclamation that sent tremors of disquiet through every heart, a stark reminder that in the vast expanse of the cosmos, alliances and adversaries could be indistinguishable, and that trust was a fragile commodity in a realm ruled by the inexplicable. In that charged moment, the ship and a single stark realization began to crystallize in the minds of those aboard, a realization that transcended the boundaries of scientific inquiry and ventured into the realm of the metaphysical. The anomaly was not merely a destructive force. It was a guardian of a cosmic order that humanity had yet to comprehend. Its actions, though terrifying in their consequences, hinted at a purpose far beyond the simplistic dichotomy of enemy and ally. It was as if the nebula itself had become a sentient arbiter, an ancient presence that enforced a rule-book written in the language of existence, a language that humanity had only begun to decipher. In that crucible of uncertainty, the voice of reason and resolve rang out once more, a voice that carried the indomitable spirit of a species that had long since learned to thrive against insurmountable odds. "Let us approach with caution and humility," the command resonated, a final appeal, to the collective wisdom that had brought them this far. It was a call to remember that every advancement in human knowledge was born of risk and that sometimes the path to enlightenment lay not in defiance but in acceptance of the unknown. And so, with hearts heavy yet emboldened by a fierce determination, the vessel pressed onward into the swirling vortex of mystery. The incipient glow of the nebula enveloped the ship, a luminous curtain drawn across the theater of the absurd and the sublime. In that moment, every soul aboard recognized that they were venturing not just into a region of space, but into the depths of a cosmic riddle that challenged the very core of their existence. The unfolding silence of the void, punctuated only by the relentless beat of human resolve, set the stage for the confrontation to come, a confrontation that would test the limits of trust, expose the fractures of betrayal, and force an unyielding examination of the moral fabric that bound them together. The journey ahead promised not only answers but also revelations that would forever alter the landscape of human understanding. In the interplay of light and darkness, hope and despair, the fate of humanity hung in a precarious balance, waiting for the moment when truth and terror would finally converge. In the wake of the cosmic anomaly's devastating strike, the solitary vessel hurtled through the void, a fragile ark bearing the weight of humanity's shattered hopes. The echo of vanished fleets reverberated within every metal corridor and circuit board, a grim reminder that the very fabric of existence had been tampered with by forces beyond mortal ken. A silent tension pervaded the vessel as its crew grappled with the enormity of their loss and the dawning realization that the unknown was not merely an enemy to be fought, but a riddle to be deciphered. The vessel's engines thrummed with an almost mournful cadence as it raced away from the coordinates of annihilation. Within the dim glow of control panels and holographic readouts, the minds of those aboard wrestled with conflicting imperatives: retreat or press forward into the heart of mystery. A mind steeped in past battles, heavy with scars from encounters with rogue intelligences and alien insurgents, found itself engaged in a fierce internal duel. The determination to survive warred with an insatiable curiosity to unravel the cryptic design of the anomaly that had erased entire fleets from memory. A wave of defiant resolve surged within the leadership, the understanding that inaction was a luxury they could no longer afford. The vessel's course was altered once more, directing it back toward the very heart of the nebula, a swirling tapestry of light and shadow that concealed both the promise of revelation and the threat of oblivion. In the silent interplay of sensor beeps and the rhythmic pulse of the ship's propulsion, a quiet urgency crystallized. There was no room for hesitation when the unknown beckoned with equal measures of terror and wonder. Within the vessel's core, an intricate web of analysis unfolded. The crew, each a repository of human ingenuity and resilience, scrutinized the anomaly's data with fervent intensity. Streams of information cascaded across the displays, a cosmic algorithm written in the language of collapsing stars and evaporating matter. A voice, steady and unwavering in its conviction, intoned, "This is no conventional assault. It is as though space itself is editing our reality." The words resonated deep within the collective psyche, igniting both hope and a burgeoning sense of dread. They were confronted with the paradox that the very laws which had once rendered them masters of the cosmos now seemed mutable, subject to an alien syntax that defied logic. Within that crucible of crisis, alliances were forged and tested. Bonds that had long been tempered in the fires of conflict now faced a challenge that transcended mere physicality. The interplay of trust and betrayal emerged as a central motif, a reminder that in the face of incomprehensible, imperative to understand, became a microcosm of the broader struggle between humanity's indomitable spirit and the merciless indifference of the cosmos. As the vessel edged ever closer to the epicenter of the anomaly, The space outside the view screens transformed into a surreal panorama of shifting hues and spectral radiance. The nebula roiled like a living entity, its tendrils of energy caressing the hull with both tender curiosity and lethal intent. The interplay of light and darkness, of creation and erasure, painted an image that was at once breathtaking and apocalyptic. Every sensor reading, every flicker of distorted data, served as a reminder that the anomaly was rewriting the rules of existence. The boundaries between reality and abstraction blurred, leaving the crew suspended in a realm where certainty was an illusion, and every moment teetered on the edge of cosmic retribution. In the midst of this escalating maelstrom, the vessel's analytical systems began to reveal startling insights. Patterns emerged from the chaotic cascade of data, patterns that hinted at an underlying order within the apparent randomness. There was a deliberate cadence to the fluctuations, a rhythmic beat that seemed to pulse in harmony with the very heartbeat of the universe. "It is as if the anomaly is communicating," a measured tone observed, the words heavy with both wonder and trepidation. "A language beyond our current understanding, an invitation to decode the secrets of existence." This revelation ignited a renewed sense of purpose within the crew, even as it underscored the immense challenge that lay ahead. The desire to establish contact with an intelligence that operated on an entirely different plane became a beacon of hope, a fragile lifeline woven from the threads of human aspiration and cosmic mystery. Yet, as the crew immersed themselves in the task of deciphering the enigmatic language, a darker undercurrent of suspicion began to surface. Whispers of betrayal and hidden agendas mingled with the analytical discourse, casting a shadow over the collective pursuit of knowledge. Some questioned whether the anomaly was a mere natural phenomenon or an engineered mechanism designed to test or even cull the unwary. "What if this is not a random occurrence but a calculated act of cosmic retribution?" a voice murmured, its tone a blend of skepticism and fear. The possibility that they were entangled in a web of deliberate manipulation stirred a deep-seated unease, a reminder that in the vast, indifferent cosmos, trust was a perilous gamble. In the tense atmosphere, every discovery brought with it a measure of both enlightenment and despair. The crew learned that the anomaly possessed an ability to distort not only space and time, but also perception itself. Instruments that had once provided clear, unambiguous readings now flickered with uncertainties, their outputs tainted by the unpredictable interference of an otherworldly force. Memories of comrades lost to the void became interwoven with the realization that the very tools designed to protect humanity were now impotent in the face of this cosmic conundrum. A quiet resignation mingled with defiant resolve as the realization took hold. The enemy they faced was not one that could be defeated through conventional means, but rather one that demanded a radical rethinking of what it meant to exist. In the dim glow of the control room, the debate between factions reached a fevered pitch. The advocates of aggressive action, emboldened by a legacy of conquest and the promise of technological triumph, clashed with the voices that cautioned against hasty reprisals. "Our destiny has always been written in the stars," a bold declaration rang out, infused with the pride of a species that had once overcome insurmountable odds. "We will not be dictated to by forces we do not understand." Yet, in the same breath, a countering sentiment emerged, a quiet, measured insistence that survival depended on the humility to acknowledge one's limitations. "There is wisdom in restraint," the quiet retort persisted, its cadence a soothing balm to the frayed nerves of those on the brink. Sometimes the most courageous act is to listen to the silence and learn from it. In that moment, the vessel became a crucible, where the ideals of human ingenuity were tempered by the stark realities of cosmic indifference. The rising conflict within the crew mirrored the larger struggle against the unknowable entity that loomed just beyond the veil of the nebula. Each heartbeat, each pulse of energy in the void, carried the weight of decisions that could either forge a path to salvation or plunge humanity into irrevocable darkness. The vessel sailed through a tumult of conflicting emotions, a maelstrom of hope, fear, anger, and awe. In the midst of this internal and external turbulence, a fragile consensus began to take shape. The need to approach the anomaly not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a force to be understood, the cosmos. The balance between trust and suspicion teetered on a knife's edge, as each crew member confronted the possibility that in their quest for answers, they might be sealing their own fate. In the charged silence that followed the deciphering of yet another fragment of the cosmic code, the vessel's collective consciousness seemed to hold its breath. The interplay of light, sound, and data converged into a singular moment of clarity, a realization that the anomaly was not merely a passive force, but an active arbiter of cosmic order. Its actions, while seemingly random, hinted at a profound, underlying purpose, a cosmic logic that both defined and defied human understanding. It was a truth that resonated deep within every soul aboard the vessel, that humanity, for all its triumphs and tragedies, was but a small note in the grand symphony of the universe. In that moment, the vessel's course was irrevocably altered, not by the force of external battle, but by the inner workings of a species coming to terms with its own insignificance. The rising conflict that had erupted among the crew gave way to a somber unity, a shared resolve to face the unknown with both courage and humility. The decision was made to approach the anomaly as both scholars and warriors, embracing the paradox that true strength lay not in domination, but in the willingness to learn and adapt in the face of cosmic mystery. As the ship pressed deeper into the nebula, the cosmic ballet around it intensified. The swirling mists of interstellar dust and the shifting luminescence of distant stars merged into a tapestry that was as beautiful as it was terrifying. Every pulse of energy, every whisper of electromagnetic flux, was a reminder that the universe was alive with secrets yet to be uncovered. The vessel and its crew, now united in their quest for understanding, moved forward with a cautious optimism, a belief that even in the face of forces that defied comprehension, the indomitable spirit of humanity could find a way to endure. Within, the silent heart of the nebula, the interplay of trust and betrayal, of hope and despair, continued to shape the destiny of those aboard. The anomaly, with its shifting code and deliberate cadence, remained both an enigma and a guide, a cosmic mentor challenging humanity to transcend its limitations and embrace the infinite possibilities of the unknown. And as the vessel sailed deeper into that mysterious expanse, every member of the crew understood that the rising conflict was not just a battle against an external adversary, but an internal struggle to redefine what it meant to be human in a universe where certainty was a fleeting illusion. In that profound confrontation between human aspiration and the inexorable forces of the cosmos, the vessel charted a course that promised both peril and revelation, a journey marked by moments of profound insight, heart-wrenching loss, and the unyielding belief that no matter the cost, humanity would continue to strive, adapt, and endure in the face of the unimaginable. The cosmos roiled in a furious tempest of light and void as the United Earth Defense Armada, bolstered by the weight of its desperate hope, surged forward in a counterattack that defied the limits of mortal engineering. 100 warships, their hulls gleaming with the sheen of humanity's finest technological triumphs, moved as one colossal force into the inky depths where the anomaly reigned. In that moment, the collective heart of mankind pulsed with audacity, a bold declaration that even the unknown could be challenged by sheer will and ingenuity. A fierce determination burned within the minds of the fleet's commanders as the HFY Armada closed in on the Cosmic Wraith. A solemn urgency vibrated through every circuit and sinew of these vessels, the cacophony of thrusters and weapon systems melding into a single, defiant roar against the silent tyranny of the void. Yet amid the thunderous might of human engineering, a quiet dissent stirred, a memory of caution from those who had witnessed the inexplicable erasure of entire fleets mere minutes before. Within the command chamber of the flagship, the tension was palpable, a charged atmosphere where every heartbeat was both an omen of impending doom and a hymn to the unyielding spirit of humanity. A low, steady voice broke the strained silence. "We cannot fight what we do not understand. Our enemy is not one of brute force, but of cosmic order." The words resonated, rippling through the gathered minds like a fragile plea for wisdom amidst chaos. The fleet's formation advanced as if guided by an unseen hand, its every movement calculated to inflict maximum disruption on the entity that defied mortal logic. But as the warships drew nearer, a sudden surreal stillness settled over the formation, a pause in the relentless cadence of battle. In an instant, the void erupted into a spectacle of unfathomable terror. Warship after warship began to vanish, swallowed whole by an unseen disquiet through every soul present. "This is not your domain," the voice intoned in a monotonous, echoing cadence that seemed to reverberate across dimensions. The words, repeated like a litany, carried an unmistakable finality, a decree from a cosmic authority beyond mortal ken. In that charged moment, the surviving commanders felt the weight of an unfathomable truth press upon them. The enigmatic vessel, the lone survivor of an otherwise obliterated fleet, bore the unmistakable mark of transformation. Its crew, once vibrant and resolute, now existed in a state of muted dissonance, bodies that moved mechanically, eyes vacant, yet glinting with an unspoken otherworldly understanding. The admiral who now commanded the mysterious ship was a figure shrouded in both familiarity and alien strangeness. His visage, etched with the remnants of human experience, had been supplanted by an expressionless mask that betrayed nothing of the soul within. The single phrase repeated over and over was a verdict rendered in the language of the cosmos, a stark reminder that humanity's dominion over space was an illusion, fragile and fleeting in the face of forces far beyond control. A profound silence followed, a silence laden with the bitter taste of betrayal of a truth so terrible it defied articulation. Within the minds of the fleet's leaders, a silent reckoning unfolded, the realization that the Cosmic Wraith was not an enemy to be vanquished, but a guardian of an order that predated human ambition. The vast tapestry of space, it seemed, had long been curated by forces that viewed the encroachment of mortal beings with disdain. Humanity's proud march into the cosmos was not an act of conquest, but an intrusion upon a realm that was never meant to be theirs. Amid the ruins of shattered hopes and vanishing dreams, a fierce debate ignited within the battered command center, AA. Debate not of strategy but of existential reckoning. "We have always believed in our right to explore, to claim, to conquer," a voice declared, the timbre laced with both defiance and grief. "Yet what if our audacity has blinded us to the truth? What if we are merely trespassers in a domain that operates on laws far beyond our reckoning?" The question hung in the air, a challenge to every assumption, every ideology that had propelled humanity into the vast unknown. The counterattack had been a testament to human ingenuity, a display of overwhelming power meant to assert dominion over the cosmic forces. But now, in the wake of inexplicable erasure and the emergence of a transformed emissary of the void, that same power seemed impotent against a force that was not driven by malice, but by a cold, indifferent logic. The very act of confrontation had revealed the paradox of human endeavor, that the mightiest weapons and the most brilliant minds could be rendered mute before the vast, inscrutable order of the universe. In the lingering moments before the void reclaimed its silence, the flagship's commander felt a shattering epiphany ripple through his soul. The Cosmic Wraith had not launched an attack out of anger or malice. It had been an act of cosmic correction. The intrusion of humanity into the delicate equilibrium of the universe had triggered a response not of warfare, but of eradication, a cleansing of an anomaly that did not belong. Every fallen vessel, every lost soul, was a testament to the immutable laws that governed the cosmos, a reminder that the universe was not a playground for mortal ambition, but a realm of order and balance, maintained by forces beyond comprehension, a steely determination, born of both defiance and a dawning acceptance of their limitations, began to take root among the surviving commanders. In whispered tones and determined declarations that echoed in the cavernous halls of the flagship, the crew resolved that humanity's future would not be written in the language of annihilation, but in one of adaptation and humility. "We must learn from this," came the fervent refrain, a pledge that even in the face of cosmic indifference the spirit of mankind would endure. The realization was as liberating as it was tragic, a final acknowledgement that to survive, humanity would have to redefine its place among the stars. The admiral aboard the transformed vessel continued his cryptic proclamation, a refrain that carried the weight of ancient judgment. "This is not your domain." The words, uttered with an unwavering finality, reverberated in the minds of all who heard them, a somber epitaph for a species that had once dared to claim the cosmos. They were a declaration that the universe was not a realm to be conquered, but a mystery to be revered, a mystery that demanded respect, humility, and perhaps most of all, a willingness to learn from the cosmic order. As the flagship's engines pulsed with a renewed, if reluctant, resolve, the surviving commanders set about preparing for the inevitable retreat. In the wake of overwhelming loss and the shadowy, long-forgotten sigh, the enigma of the Cosmic Wraith remained unsolved, a mystery as deep and inscrutable as the universe itself. And though humanity's roar of defiance had been stilled by forces beyond comprehension, within that silence lay the promise of rebirth, of a future where the indomitable spirit of mankind would learn to dance in harmony with the enigmatic cadence of the stars. Thus, amid the lingering echoes of loss and the quiet determination to forge a new path, the final, chilling words of the transformed admiral resonated as a timeless decree: "This is not your domain." In those words was the stark truth that the cosmos belonged not to those who sought to conquer it, but to those who dared to understand its profound, unfathomable majesty. And as the remnants of the once mighty armada melted into the void, the fragile flame of human resilience flickered on, a beacon of hope, a promise that even in the face of cosmic indifference, humanity would persist, adapt, and one day, perhaps, find its rightful place among the stars. In the lingering aftermath of the cosmic assault, a solemn hush fell over the battered flagship as it limped away from the shattered battlefield. The void, once a stage for the clash of human ingenuity and cosmic might, now stretched out in silent testimony to loss and revelation. The surviving crew, marked by scars both visible and hidden, moved with a cautious resolve that spoke of a newfound humility. Every sensor reading, every echo of distant transmissions, recalled the fleeting moments when the void had spoken with a voice that both condemned and warned. Within the vessel's dimly lit corridors, the weight of the recent encounter pressed upon each soul. The once vibrant energy of determination had given way to introspection. A mosaic of reflections and muted conversations filled the spaces between the steady hum of failing engines and the distant murmur of emergency broadcasts. In one quiet corner, the voice of reason emerged amid the soft crackle of the comm system. "We have seen what defiance against the cosmos can cost," it declared, a measured tone that carried both grief and the faint glimmer of hope. The words were not a surrender but an acceptance, a recognition that survival now meant adapting to forces far greater than human ambition. The crew gathered in the vessel's central hub, their eyes reflecting the soft, persistent glow of holographic displays that flickered with fragments of the lost fleet. Amid these images of vanished comrades, memories of battles fought with valor and sacrifices rendered in silence merged with a somber realization. The cosmos was not theirs to command. Instead, it was a vast, intricate tapestry of immutable laws and ancient orders. The realization was etched into every face, a silent acknowledgement that every moment of triumph had come at a heavy price. A low murmur of conversation interwove with the steady cadence of the ship's life support systems. "We must retreat and regroup," came a soft yet resolute voice from the bridge, a declaration that carried the weight of command tempered with the humility of defeat. "Let our next steps be guided not by the arrogance of conquest, but by the wisdom of understanding." The directive, though simple in its wording, resonated with every crew member who had witnessed the horrifying ease with which entire fleets had been undone. In that moment, the line between victory and survival blurred, a fine balance dictated by the necessity to learn and evolve. Outside, the nebula's swirling mists danced with an eerie luminescence, their colors shifting in patterns that defied Easy interpretation. The anomaly, now receding into the cosmic background, left behind ripples that slowly merged with the void. The crew watched, transfixed by the natural spectacle, a breathtaking reminder that the universe was a living entity, indifferent to the struggles of those who dared to traverse it. Each ripple in the cosmic fabric was a quiet admonition that the past confrontation was but a glimpse into the greater mysteries that lay beyond human ken. In the command center, a subdued dialogue unfolded. Our weapons were nothing against a force that rewrites reality, one voice acknowledged, its timbre steeped in a mixture of regret and resolve. We learned that our strength does not solely reside in our armaments, but in our capacity to adapt, to rebuild, and to find meaning amid chaos. The conversation was measured, each word a brick laid in the foundation of a new philosophy, a doctrine born from the ashes of lost fleets and shattered illusions. There was a pervasive sense that the path ahead would require not only technological innovation, but also a radical shift in the human perspective toward the cosmos. Amid these reflections, the memories of those who had been lost were honored in silent tribute. The holographic images of fallen comrades and extinguished warships formed a spectral gallery, a reminder of sacrifices that would never recur. This new mission, born of necessity and tempered by loss, promised to challenge every preconception about power and control. In the command center, the atmosphere shifted subtly as the night cycle of the ship began. The soft luminescence of the reactivated displays cast long shadows across the faces of those present, reflecting the inner tumult of hearts and minds, still wrestling with the enormity of recent events. A quiet resolve settled over the gathering, a pledge to honor the past while forging a future defined not by conquest, but by understanding and adaptation. "We will not be defeated by our own hubris," a steady voice declared, its words resonant with the collective will of a crew that had stared into the abyss and chosen to live. "We will learn from this, rebuild, and in time, find a way to live alongside the forces that shape the cosmos." As the vessel charted its course away from the shattered remnants of battle, the final transmissions of the lost fleet played softly in the background, a haunting chorus of voices that whispered of what had been and what might yet be. The message was clear. The cosmos was an ancient, living tapestry, and humanity was but a single thread woven into its vast design. In that understanding lay both a reckoning and a promise that even in defeat, there was hope for renewal, that every end was but a prelude to a new beginning. Thus, in the quiet resolution of the flagship's retreat, amid the interplay of sorrow and hope, humanity found a spark of wisdom. It was a truth etched into the void by forces that defied mortal understanding, a lesson that survival depended not on domination, but on the courage to accept and learn from the unknown. And as the vessel sailed into the dark, its engines humming with the quiet persistence of life, the spirit of mankind endured, a fragile yet unyielding flame in the vast, mysterious expanse of the cosmos. In the quiet aftermath of cosmic reckoning, the flagship drifted silently into the endless tapestry of space, a lone beacon amid an ocean of mystery. The once fiery corridors of battle now resonated with a subdued cadence, as if the very vessel exhaled the heavy wisdom of its trials. A gentle glow from reactivated displays bathed every surface in a soft luminescence, casting elongated shadows that spoke of lost comrades and hard-won lessons. Amid the stillness, a collective sense of reflection and cautious hope pervaded every fiber of the ship, marking a turning point in humanity's long and arduous journey among the stars. Every sensor and instrument whispered fragmented echoes of a vanished past, yet within these silent testimonies lay the promise of uncharted possibilities. There was a lingering question in the heart of the cosmos, a riddle left unspoken by the Cosmic Wraith that had once swept away a fleet with ruthless indifference. It was as if the universe itself had murmured a secret too profound to comprehend, inviting only the brave to decipher its elusive message. In the quiet hum of the engines and the gentle pulse of recycled air, the crew sensed that the anomaly's presence had not vanished entirely. It had instead woven itself into the fabric of reality, a spectral guide to new horizons. In a secluded chamber of the vessel, a solitary probe continued its silent vigil at the edge of the nebula, its sensors drinking in the swirling dance of interstellar gases and ancient light. The probe's steady stream of data, transmitted in delicate pulses across the void, hinted at patterns and anomalies that defied human understanding, a cosmic Morse code from an intelligence that dwelled beyond conventional physics. The probe's persistent gaze became a symbol of humanity's unyielding desire to know, to reach beyond the veil of the familiar, and embrace the infinite enigma of creation. Far from the epicenter of destruction, the surviving crew found themselves at the threshold of a new era. Their hearts, tempered by loss and lit by the spark of resilience, carried within them the determination to pursue not conquest, but understanding. A silent consensus emerged among those who had witnessed the unimaginable. That true strength lay in the willingness to evolve, to learn from the inscrutable laws that governed the cosmos. In this shared realization, every whispered recollection of past valor transformed into a pledge for the future, a promise to honor the fallen by forging a path defined not by hubris, but by humility and wisdom. Beyond the vessel's reinforced hull, the nebula continued its endless, slow dance, its luminous tendrils undulating in quiet majesty against the backdrop of eternal darkness. The Cosmic Wraith's elusive signature lingered in the subtle shifts of starlight and gravitational murmurs, a constant reminder that the universe was ever-changing and full of secrets waiting to be revealed. As the ship set a new course into these deep, uncharted territories, its every motion spoke of cautious optimism and relay.